Tell everybody, hey. Hey y'all, we back with Young Thug with YSL Rico trial. And the jury, the defendant, the lawyers in the court observed a lot going on today, this morning. Yeah, it was a long process. You know, I was at work and I came home. It was a long process. So we got to play catch up in the trial against the Young Thug and the alleged YSL street gang. But just a few minutes ago, what I just took a toll that the detectives, some of the detectives didn't do their job. They mentioned that one of the detectives mentioned about he used the sign that they would use the sign language, but he didn't put it in his report, so you can't go by that. So on one day after another police detective gave testimony tracing the outline of the alleged gang origin of the YSL street gang. They had one wait a minute. The alleged gang origin YSL in Cleveland Avenue. Prosecutor began the second day of the testimony with witnesses. Focus on the first item. That's what we're going to go. So I'm going to go ahead on and get started. You know, play catch up, Camper and I. Tell everybody hello, Camper. Let everybody see you don't act like that. Tell everybody hello. So we're going to turn our to say, hey, y'all. Okay, y'all, we about to watch the trial. Say, hey, everybody. Okay, wait, let's see. Let me pull the trial up. We got to play catch up, y'all. Trying to put it back on the part that I was just speaking about. Side Camper, cooperate, please. Stop. Hold up, y'all. Trying to work with Camper. Stop it. I think they got the wrong. I think they got the wrong gang folks up there. Can you see up so people can see you? Camper. You got to do something. Why you acting like that? Why you acting like that? Camper. 1 second, y'all. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna skip it because I'm a little late. Hope everybody doing okay. Let me get these boys rolling.
Last call at that point, ladies are not allowed to leave until the parking lot is cleared of all customers. No staff is allowed to leave until the parking lot is cleared of all customers, and that is for their safety because we have a barricade. There's only one way in and one way out.
And what time is it that the club was closed and all customers would have been required to leave?
We do last call at 2:45. All customers have to be out by 3. No exceptions. That's the law.
And if all customers were out by 3, what time would you have gone out like that?
If that incident occurred at 4:30, I would have had to have left about 3:55 that morning. Because I was in my subdivision and within a half a mile of my home house.
As far as the parking lot is concerned, how wide or how large is the parking lot of Gold?
There's in the road that's
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that question because I'm going to next ask her, did she pay any attention to whether or not anyone was on the perimeter of it, or did she even see that?
she already testified that no one there.
I reject
No one said.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm gonna sustain the objection. Just move on, all right?
Sure.
And you said that you left and you got in the car, you didn't notice anything, but was there anything on the perimeter of the parking lot, anything at all that caught your attention or nothing at all?
I really don't pay attention. I mean, when I walk out, I notice like the ranger's car, security is usually there, a foreman, cars of Indian ladies who have not been able to pass the breathalyzer. They leave their cars because we do have overnight security. As far as the perimeter, behind this is a trailer park. If you're exiting our club, to the left would be a trailer park. Directly in front is a liquor store, and to the right is Metropolitan. So, as far as the parking lots where the liquor store and everything is, I really pay attention because there, again, can be cars in and out across the road. There's parking, and there are cars there throughout the night. And when we leave in the morning sometimes. So I would pay that no attention.
Now, I asked you whether or not you knew a tri-state misdemeanor. Are you at all familiar with, or have you ever had any reason to be at 2612 Old Hayville Road?
No, I don't know where Hateful Road is.
Okay. That's all. Let's see how this question.
That is true statement.
So I want to ask you just a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
And I know that in this case we've been discussing the incident that you happened back in 2013, right?
apologize. But if I told him that, then I'm certain. And that does sound like something I would say.
Objection, Your Honor, as to relevance and
Objection.
thank you.
Still searching for a school that meets your students' needs?
Please, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay, so back to the facts of what happened. Somebody come back.
Yes, sir.
You get out of the car.
Yes.
You see a young man, kind of nondescript looking young man, right?
Correct.
5'7"-ish,
Yes, sir.
130-ish pounds, small guy.
Yes, sir.
Maybe a little smaller than me.
Probably a little smaller. Yes, sir.
Fine.
I didn't want to hurt you. I'm trying not to step on your toes on that one.
So this kid gets out of the car.
Yes,
And as you were, he says up to you, we're going to need a new face. You said, oh, he said, yes, ma'am, something like that.
He greeted me. I don't remember if he said hello, ma'am, or how are you. He greeted me. I greeted him. He greeted me in return.
You're in the back looking at your car. And you meantime goes around, jumps in your car, and takes off.
He circles up on the curb and, yes, sir, he turns around and takes off back out the direction in which we had come in.
You don't know where that kid came from, right?
Oh, correct.
I mean, this is new. So, whether this kid came from Rico or from wherever, you don't know. Look, that this happened about 35 or 40 minutes away from where you were in Atlanta, right?
That is correct, yes, sir. No, sir.
You cannot say, hey, look, I saw him before. That face looks familiar. Not at all.
No.
Your car is going to that point, and you both will get the phone to the police. You speak to the police, and you told them what happened. You told them about the car had one star, and 6 days later, is when you're notified, whether by the police or someone, that the car had been recovered or found. True. Okay. You don't know, frankly, what happened to the car in that 6-day period of time, right?
That is correct, yes, I did not.
You have no way. You can't testify that it went through 1 pair of hands, 5 pair of hands, 6 people. How many different cities you did? We just don't know, right?
That's true, yes, sir.
Well, we know that at some point the car was found somewhere in Atlanta, right?
Correct.
Okay. You were never called upon. I know you will ask clearly. You were never called upon to come identify anyone who was found in possession of the car, right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
You were never told by anyone, by the police, law enforcement, that anyone was found in possession of the car.
At some point, I received a call that they had found my car. It actually was sometime later. I was given 2 names because they did ask me if I knew the names. I wrote the names down and did not recognize the names. So that is the extent of it.
Right. And certainly, there was never a time when the police said, hey, you know what? We should come in here and take a look at the picture and see if you identify anyone. That never happened.
No, sir, that did not happen.
One of the things that you were asked about earlier, talking about home versus field, right? Just a moment.
Recordings just got better.
Look,
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that mobile recordings are now available on StreamYard.
y'all, that stream
to the office once for something. Shortly after getting there, I can't give you a time frame, within an hour after getting there, probably. But after that, I did not come back out on the floor, no, sir.
Okay. And there was nothing in this case on the two-day or you're there, right?
Yes, sir.
What happens? You're there, correct?
Correct.
You don't see anyone looking at you.
Oh, no, sir.
You don't see anyone walking out or walking around the perimeter of this
Hey,
location.
yeah. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see what's going on. Oh, there you go. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
That's correct.
You get in the car and something happens down in Georgia.
That is correct.
All right. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Any other examination, Mr. Sharp? Hi, Mr. Williams. Mr. Matthews. Hi, Mr. Weinstein. Ms. Rosemont. All right. I think that's it. Okay. All right.
Ms. Rosser, just a couple questions on from Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams mentioned where you worked in Atlanta and had neglected to ask when you said 2608 Metropolitan that he was in Atlanta and Fulton County. Is that right?
Yes, yes, ma'am. That is the address to the Gold Rush.
And you said you did not know and had not visited 2612 Old Hayville Road. Do you have any idea how far 2608 Metropolitan Highway is from Old Hayville Road in general?
I have no idea.
And finally, you said when we were asked on cross-examination by Mr. Adams, no one knows that you're there. Is that sort of a generality, or is that literally nobody knows that you're there?
It's a generality. I mean, young ladies know I'm there. The regulars know I'm there. But so no one, the universal modifier is not actually appropriate. People not there, but most of the customer base really would not know I was there.
Anything further, councils? All right. Ms. Rosser be permanently or temporarily excused the witness.
Yes, sir.
Permanent? All right. Ms. Rosser, I'm going to permanently excuse the witness. Appreciate your patience with us. Don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the judge in this case, okay? All right. Thank you, madam. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? We good? Okay. All right. I'll call you next witness.
Captain Pettis, there was a request regarding.
All right. Members of the media, would it be appropriate, or could I ask your assistance in not filming? You may do audio or video audio of our next witness, but the court would ask that you not film him, okay? All right. Thank you.
Whoa. You know, he's still on the streets.
Captain Pettis. Officer Pettis. What's the first name of your witness? What's the first name of your witness, please? Reginald? Yes. Thank you.
Anytime.
Please stand. Once you give, if you be so kind to turn and face our English one as a witness before you sit down, sir. First name is Reginald, Reginald. Last name is Pettis, Pettis.
Thug looking real nice.
Doing well, thank you.
Captain Pettis, would you please introduce yourself to the jury and tell them where it is that you currently work?
Good morning. I'm Captain Reginald Pettis. I am assigned to Zone 3 of the Atlanta Police Department.
And Captain Pettis, I'm surprised I don't have to tell you this, but I will need you to talk a little bit louder.
Okay.
I can barely hear you back here.
All right.
Can you give me two little bags of them chips? What, barbecue?
Southeast Atlanta. Okay. The rough border would be south of I-20, west of Moreland Avenue, and east of Murphy Avenue. Southmost border being 285.
How long have you been the captain of that zone?
Since May 24th, 2022.
Now, prior to May 24th, 2022, at this time, are you currently certified as a law enforcement officer by the Police Officer Standards Training Council Authority?
Yes.
And how long have you been so certified?
17 years.
So prior to working or being promoted, I suppose, to captain of three, what was your position?
I was the unit commander of our Homeland Security unit.
Now, would you tell the jury what responsibilities that you currently hold as captain of that zone?
I'm the assistant zone commander, meaning that the major is the zone commander. I handle most of the day-to-day operations and the staffing of the zone.
Zoom orientation.
And what did you do as unit commander of the Homeland Security unit?
I oversaw a unit that consists of intelligence analysts, investigators, and technical investigators that have proficiency in all things computer related.
Give me some barbecue chips. Two for the. Thank you.
Approximately 12.
I'm drinking water. I got some water.
How long did you work as unit commander of
Huh?
Homeland Security?
For about 2.5 years.
Position when you were unit commander? Working in the same place somewhere?
No, ma'am, we were in the headquarters building, 226 Peach Street.
And before that, where did you work?
I was in the Auto Crimes Enforcement Unit,
How long did you work there?
about 6 months.
And from what day to what day were you in the auto crimes enforcement?
Approximately January of 2020 until May of 2020.
Before that, what were your responsibilities?
As the ace unit commander of the Auto Crimes Enforcement Unit, we were a traffic unit mainly, and our goal was to stop people from stealing cars, and once they stole cars, to interdict them and arrest those people.
What's interdict?
Figure out who they are, where they're going next, just gather intelligence on them. And then at the tail end of my tenure there, we really were being tasked with a lot of street racer enforcement because it was 2020 and everybody was in the house and that's what they were doing.
Those are the times.
Yeah.
Prior to January of 2020, what did you do with the Atlanta Police Department?
I got promoted to lieutenant in January of 2019. I was assigned to Zone 2 as the day watch commander. Then I got moved to the administrative unit commander in Zone 2, and then to the
Investigations Division of Zone 2.
And what were your responsibilities for the criminal investigations division in Zone 2?
Well, back then we had our investigators assigned each zone, as opposed to now where they're all collected together at headquarters. So I supervised the investigations that took place in Zone 2.
Prior to January 2019, where did you work?
I was a sergeant. I was assigned to Zone 5.
When did you start working as a sergeant in Zone 5?
Approximately July of 2014.
And before then, what were you assigned to do?
Before that, I was an investigator assigned to Zone 3.
Is Old Paintville Road in Zone 3?
Yes.
Specifically is 20.
Yes. No, ma'am, not without looking at a map.
So you were an investigator in Zone 3 in January of 2013?
So,
You said before you became a sergeant in Zone 5 in 2014 that you were an investigator in Zone 3.
and before that, an officer in Zone 3.
Okay. Tell me when you started working as an officer and when you started working as an investigator.
I got to Zone 3 approximately July of 2010. I worked as an officer in Zone 3 until I got promoted to an investigator in Zone 3, which was the end of January of 2013.
Judge.
Tell the jury a little bit about the responsibilities that you had as an officer in Zone 3.
As an officer, your main priorities are responding to 911 calls. Secondarily, you are to interdict crime, and you can do that in a variety of ways. Usually, officers utilize the traffic stop and the suspicious person stop. We also perform what we call directed patrols, which is an area that is known to be a high crime area. So officers might pull into the parking lot there, turn their blue lights on, and complete their paperwork there. So we do response to 911 calls, proactive work, and deterrence efforts to prevent crime.
Were you always working in uniform during your time in Zone 3 in 2013?
No.
And then what occasion would you have to not be in uniform?
When I was assigned to the crime suppression unit, we would split the unit between uniformed officers and officers that were in plain clothes. The latter part of my tenure, I was assigned to the plainclothes part of that unit. We would perform various tasks in plainclothes. Some of them will be related to narcotics activity. Some of them will be related to general crimes or what crime was trending that week and what area it was trending in. So a lot of time we would act as the eyes and then call in uniformed officers to make stops.
Now, do you recall January 25th, 2013?
Yes.
Specifically as it relates to an incident that occurred at 2612 Old Paintville Road. What were you working on that day?
I was.
And what capacity were you working?
I was working in a plainclothes capacity, driving an unmarked civilian vehicle.
Now, what was it that took you
dispatcher that OnStar was tracking a vehicle that was taken in a carjacking, and it was in the general vicinity of Zone 3. And one of the beat officers let us know that he located the vehicle, and it was parked in this apartment complex.
And so, how long after you got that notification did you respond?
My partner and I got to the apartment complex parking lot maybe 10, 15 minutes later.
Okay.
We located the vehicle, and we parked in a position that we could keep our eyes on it in case somebody came back to the vehicle.
I'm going to show you what has already been exhibited as evidence, as marked, as face exhibits 4A and 5A. And as you, if you recall whether or not those photographs depicted the vehicle that you were already. So what do you do as you get into the complex to respond to this call?
After parking, to keep eyes on the vehicle to see who returned to it, it's pretty much a waiting game at that point. We hadn't determined yet how long we were going to wait to see if somebody came to the vehicle. I think it took about 45 minutes before we saw the vehicle drive past us. So we had initially not seen who entered the vehicle and drove it away, but the apartment complex is constructed in a way that the parking lot is like a big circle. So the vehicle came back past us and reversed into its parking spot that it previously occupied.
How far away from you was the parking spot that the vehicle backed into?
I don't recall, but we were close enough that we could make out a general description of the driver.
What was the general description?
Black male with black clothing and a do-rag.
What kind of do-rag?
I believe it was black in color.
What did that person do once they pulled in?
Well, I drove closer to the vehicle to get a better description of the driver and to try to see what apartment they were walking into. So as I did that, the driver turned and looked at us, so we were made at that point, most likely. So we saw the driver. I'm on objections. It's one time. So we saw the driver walk into the building, and then a short time later, several other people exited the building.
What, if any, apartment or building or did they walk out of, you know?
I believe it's apartment number 7.
And at this point, how far away from the vehicle that you were surveilling were you?
Approximately 10 feet.
What happened after that?
After the driver
when you're in a hurry, there's still time for personalized gifts. PersonalizationMall.com will help you find everything you need to make your holiday special. So it looks like you spent hours setting the halls and getting all the details right. Want everyone to personalize gift.
entered the building. Several other males exited. They looked at my partner and myself in our vehicle, and they began motioning for us to roll our window down. They were shouting obscenities while doing so.
Now, what was the ethnicities or races of the other persons who came out of the building?
Black males.
Do you remember any general description of the persons who were yelling obscenities?
It would just be that they were probably all under 25 years old or around that age.
And why they were yelling obscenities?
I stand objection.
I was drawn out. No, that wasn't there either. What obscenities were they yelling?
I did not roll the window down to the best of my recollection. There were some middle fingers. There were some gang signs being thrown. I cannot tell you what they were, but it was aggression was the general gist of it.
So what did you do upon showing them this aggression?
At first I did nothing, and then one of the males who was the most I would say violent with his hand signals, his signs being thrown, and his motion for me to roll down the window, lifted his waistband to show us that he had a pistol in his pants.
And what did he do at that point?
He pulled the pistol from his pants and held it down beneath his waistline while pointing the barrel at myself and my partner.
What did you do at that point?
I drove away. I drove toward the front of the apartment complex, and then we communicated with our uniformed officers that we call the takedown team that we needed assistance.
What happened at that point?
We circled around the parking lot because we saw the suspect who pointed the gun at us run away from the parking lot. I believe that he ran the opposite direction from the street, so we're traveling one way toward the street. He's running the other way. We drove around the apartment complex, as I explained before. It's set up like a circle or U, and we saw him coming back into the apartment complex to remove the fence. So he'd already made it outside of the fence, and he was coming back in.
When you all saw him coming back in, what happened?
There was another vehicle that was traveling around the U. He flagged that vehicle down and then jumped in through the front passenger seat.
Then what happened?
The vehicle drove back out of the complex. By that time, one of our marked units had made it into the area, and the suspect exited the vehicle. The vehicle just stopped in the middle of the roadway, and the suspect got out of the front passenger seat and began walking away from the vehicle. And at that time, two uniformed officers who were in the takedown vehicle were able to take him into custody.
Were there any items collected and discarded by that person?
Yes, we called the assistance of a K9 officer. It was from Railroad Police Department. Might have been CFX. I'm sure it's in the report. And myself and my partner searched the wooded area where we saw the suspect. Find a firearm that had been placed inside of a bucket.
And was that firearm the same description as the one that pulled out and destroyed the violent game?
Yes, ma'am, I was able to identify it as the same weapon.
as being the gun that was on scene at the time.
Okay. Are those fair and accurate reflections of the firearms that you collected? United States Tenders 2A and 3A as evidence.
2A or 3A? Yeah, everybody else. Anybody else? All right. 2A and 3A are admitted.
I'm holding up 2A and 3A for the jury. Captain Pettit. Let's back up to the time that you said that you saw back into the parking lot before the gentleman got out and went inside. Was it gentleman, did you were saying that gentleman? And how long do you estimate it was from the time that he went inside to the time that the group of people came outside?
Less than a minute.
And did the group of people come directly towards you, or were they doing something else and they noticed you?
I think that I sustained this reform.
What did you observe?
I observed them come out of the building with their attention already focused
Where?
on the vehicle that I was driving, myself and my partner,
Okay.
and then they immediately began throwing the gang signs and yelling at us.
Had you done anything to that group of gentlemen before they came out, focusing on you and your partner, throwing gang signs and yelling at you?
No, ma'am.
He didn't put in a police report.
Talk about gang signs. How long have you worked overall in law enforcement?
17 years.
And what, if any, training or experience have you had during that time that would give you the ability to recognize what a gang sign is?
We certainly had a block of instruction in the academy. In field training, we would be taught to look for those signs from our field training officers, pointing out the signs. But we would literally drive down the street and gang members throw gang signs at us. Throughout my years, I attended various other trainings that show gang indicators from tagging to dress to words being said, certainly colors and hand signs being the most frequent and evolving indicator of a criminal street gang.
And how were you able to discern, a gang sign from just the middle finger?
I think it would be in the forming of the hands and it doesn't look like a middle finger. It's more complex than that.
I want to show you what has been marked as exhibit 6 alpha, 7 alpha, 8 alpha, and 9 alpha as it relates to this particular incident. And also let me ask before I can show you. 2612 only is located in County.
Yes.
I'm showing you, and given that this has been already served on the vest, showing you 6A, 7A, 8A, and 9A. Would you look at those without publishing to the jury? And let me know if you recognize those photographs.
I do not.
Okay? Do you, at the time that this incident occurred, are you the one that photographed anyone who had been arrested?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Who was it that did that?
I don't know for certain.
Was it the forensic team or that?
No, ma'am. I think that it was was one of our supervisors who responded to the scene.
Okay,
They usually kept the one camera that we had for the entire zone.
all right. And how did the supervisor or how did you all document or associate photographs with a particular incident?
It's usually done right there. I'll stand this. I'll stand it. It's a formal question. I'll sustain the section. I'm rephrasing that.
When photographs are taken during the course of an incident that you were involved in, is there a way that the photographs are associated with the incident itself?
The answer is yes. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. So let me think about it for a second.
Okay.
He trying to get his eyes together.
In most cases, the photographs are associated with the incident that's occurring by way of the officer or the investigator that is on scene.
And are those photographs associated with the incident number and the record keeping?
I sustain it as to form.
Is there an incident number associated with the photographs?
Yes.
Is that incident number and those photographs stored in the normal course of business with the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes.
Now, who is it that was arrested as a result of this incident that took place?
The suspect's name is Mr. COURTTV Stevens.
And were there any other persons who were arrested on that day?
I overrule the objection. I believe that there was one other person arrested, but it was for a warrant, not a crime that had occurred that day.
And so the arrest that you made that day, what was that arrest for as it relates to what you were looking at?
Mr. COURTTV Stevens was charged with aggravated assault, and he also had an outstanding arrest warrant. I believe it was out of East Point for aggravated assault.
Okay. Do you know what Mr. COURTTV Stevens' arrest warrant out of East Point for aggravated assault?
No, ma'am.
Was the person arrested? What was that other person's name? Do you recall?
No, ma'am.
Would you join me with a copy of your incident report to refresh your recollection?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you what the regular states exhibit 50 out of the narrative provided to you that discovery. Would you just take a look at page 15 at the bottom? Just read it to yourself and do not read it out loud. So that's it.
Okay.
Who is that person?
Mr. Desmond.
When all of this happened?
No.
Okay. Where was Mr. Hurst?
Mr. Hurst was inside of apartment 7.
All right. And how was Mr. Hurst found?
I'm all out, Mr. Adams.
How was Mr. Hurst found?
The Zone 3 crime suppression obtained a search warrant for apartment 7. The objective of the search warrant was to try to locate the vehicle keys of the stolen vehicle, of the carjacked vehicle. And during that search warrant, I've already forgotten his name, the other arrestee, Mr. Hurst, thank you, was arrested because he was inside the apartment and showed to have an arrest warrant.
Now, the vehicle you described as being
I'll let you rephrase. I'll sustain this.
When you spoke about Mr. Steve or when you spoke about the guy that left and you walking up to the front of the complex and getting in the car, what kind of car did you get?
I think it was a Buick.
Was there a traffic stop made of by Georgia State Patrol?
Yes.
So what happened?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that traffic stop made on the
Not far at a gas station on Cleveland Avenue, the apartment complex that's on Old Hayville is maybe a couple hundred yards away from Cleveland Avenue.
Bad apartment.
gas station?
I believe it was a BP.
What was the address of BP?
It was in the 100 block of Cleveland Avenue.
If I show you your report, will it refresh your recollection as to the exact address of the BP?
Yes.
All right. Show the PSX Exhibit 50A asking you to look at the third paragraph from the bottom. And just don't read it out loud, just read it and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Yes.
Please tell the jury what the address of that BP gas station that the traffic stop was made.
The address was 151 Cleveland Avenue.
151 Cleveland Avenue.
Yes.
And who were the occupants of that vehicle? Do you recall?
No, ma'am.
With showing you the report refresh your memory?
Yes.
The narrative asking you to look at that same paragraph.
Okay.
Don't read it out loud. Look at it, put it down.
Okay.
And I'll see that your previous version. So who are the occupants of that vehicle?
Mr. Stovall and Miss Latrice.
Are those Jarrell Stovall and Shawana Israel?
I stand there. Objection.
Do you recall the first name?
Yes.
Please tell me the first name that you have to refer to. The document to refresh your memory, let us know that that's happening.
Okay. I'm referring to the document.
Don't read it.
Okay. Mr. Jarrell Stovall and Miss Shawanda Latrice. What are their names?
Now, when police went to apartment 7 of the complex, were there other persons inside?
Yes.
Besides the one that was being present?
Yes.
Do you recall who those other persons were?
No, ma'am. I'd have to refer to the document.
Would you refer to the document and don't read it? Refresh your memory.
Okay.
Who are the other persons inside?
Alfonso Dixon, Travis Watkins.
Watkins,
No, I have to look again. Johnson
okay?
and the aforementioned Mr. Hurst.
What were the races or ethnicities of these young men?
Black males.
the Buick any of the people that had come out of apartment number 7?
No, ma'am.
Were the people that came out, Mr. Stevens, did you indicate in your report whether they had come out
A real one
of apartment number 7?
I did not indicate that.
with flour.
Now, you said that you looked at the occupants of the Buick and decided they had not come out of number 7. Do you recall what you said in your report about the occupants of apartment number 7 as it relates to walking for your Buick?
No, I do not.
Would reading your report refresh your memory, and if it would not, I would tell us to take another step.
I don't think it would.
All right. The report that I have in front of me is marked as section 58. Would you look at it, not for the sake of refreshing your memory, but look at it and tell me, did you recognize the report first of all?
I do recognize the report.
How do you recognize the report?
Looks like the one that I wrote on January 20th, 2013.
Okay. Now, the report that you wrote on January 25th of 2013,
Yes, ma'am.
was that written in close proximity temporally to the time that the incident occurred?
Yes.
And is it a routine part of your responsibilities and your practice to memorialize incidents as they occur?
Yes.
And does the report that you memorialize the incidents that you write a record of, do they accurately inside your report
Yeah.
reflect incidents that took place in close proximity? And the other reports made during the normal course of business.
Yes.
Was this report made based on the personal knowledge you had at the time that the incident occurred?
Yes.
Your Honor, under
Lord.
Angle 3, past recollection, reporting the state tenders, state exhibit 50A, outlook.
Any objection to States 58 tabs?
Thank you, Your Honor. Captain Betts, would you please read paragraph, the third paragraph from the bottom in its entirety?
Several Georgia State Patrol officers performed a traffic stop on the Buick in the parking lot of the BP gas station located at 151 Cleveland Avenue and detained its occupants, Mr. Jarrell Stovall, 04-12-82, and Ms. Shawana Trace, 07-25-91. This detention was necessary to confirm and dispel whether or not these occupants were involved in the carjacking. Officer J. Brown, Sergeant T. Henninger, 2397, knocked on the door of apartment number 7. After knocking several times, the door was eventually opened. There were 3 males inside, and they all were detained. Those males were Mr. Travis Johnson, 11-04-85, Mr. Desmond Hurst, 07-17-95, and Mr. Alfonso Dixon, 08-26-91. Officers N. Johns and K. Collins
relocated with Mr. Stevens back to the apartment complex. Officer Ramirez and I then did a drive-by viewing of the occupants of the Buick and determined that they were none of the people that came out of apartment number 7 and walked toward our vehicle.
All right. Well, right, they were none of the people that came out of apartment number 7 and walked towards your vehicle. Who were you referring to?
The occupants of the Buick.
No. You said they were none of the people. Occupants were. Your Honor, there's no stuff.
I will sustain that objection. So, Ms. Love, you have to go through the proper foundation.
Sure, Your Honor.
You just can't tell the witness.
I'm not trying to tell them.
Oh, yeah, well, you just started to, so that's why you drew an objection.
All right.
All right.
So, Captain Pettis, let me make sure I understand. When reading that last sentence, when you said none of the people, they were none of the people, who were you referring to? You said they were none of the people.
Can I refer to the report?
Yes.
She think they ain't listening, baby. They listening to you. They're on you, prosecute.
The people they're referring to are Mr. Jarrell Stovall and Mr. Wanda Latrice.
Now, if you would, please go up to the third paragraph. Actually, you know what? Start at the top and read the first 3 paragraphs.
Let me finish this objection first now. Okay, what's your basic objection? I sustain.
There's a particular part that you not testify about, so Mr. Adams is clear of it. And,
Well, I'm going to sustain your question as formed as a yeah, you can rephrase it if you like.
all right. Starting at the top of paragraph 3, would you read what you wrote there in paragraph 3?
I witnessed a black male, approximately 25 years old, wearing all black clothing with a black do-rag and black hat, reversed the vehicle into its parking spot and then exit and walk toward apartment number 7. By this time, I had driven my undercover vehicle to within 10 feet of the driver was going. The driver stopped walking and looked at me. Several other males then exited apartment number 7 and walked down to the street level. The male to roll down my window. One of the males, later identified as Mr. James Stevens, was more aggressive than the other males and trying to make me roll down my window. Officer Ramirez and I then met Norfolk Southern Railroad police officer Shirley and his canine Smoke near the hole in the fence that Mr. Stevens used. Smoke tracked toward a plastic bucket approximately 30 feet inside the wood line, which contained the pistol that Mr. Stevens pointed me. The pistol is a black Beretta 380 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Serial number D as in David 7-9 S as in Sam 62 Y as in Yankee. The pistol was turned over on scene to Atlanta crime scene tech number 7345 to be processed.
Your Honor, this time since there's number 10 as in alpha, I know that happened, that's your long short. Sorry.
Does anybody wish to examine the state standard? What you saying? Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So we're going to be rendered say. Yes. So it's our neighbor? Okay. All right.
Take a look at 10A and tell us if that is fire on that. Look at it, pick it up, and put it up here.
It matches the serial number.
And does it also match?
Description, yes it does.
So it's 10A, the black caliber, the automatic pistol,
Yes.
section is 10A and everything.
A connection states 10. Anybody else? Anybody else have any further objection? All right, states 10 is admitted. Probably just using that.
Captain Pettis, what was the age of Truncated Stevens at the time that this incident took place? And if you don't remember, I'm going to ask you to read it from the report that is already been presented.
Okay.
And the date of birth,
Per the report, Mr. Stevens was born on April 26, 1993.
and what date did this incident take place on?
January 25th, 2013.
Thank you so much. That's all I have for now.
All right, Cross, Mr. Adams. All right, go ahead, sir.
Get them.
Good afternoon. I'm doing well, thank you. Yes.
attached here is the warrant application, another copy of the report, and the actual warrant. So along with the copies of the arrest tickets. Yes, sir. Yes. Correct. I would have to look at the report to tell you what jurisdiction it was stolen from. Correct. Yes. That was one of the charges. The other one was pointing or aiming a pistol at another, and the last was the warrant that he had. Essentially, what you, the officer was involved.
I'll sustain this form, just rephrase, Mr. Matthews. Okay, all right.
Yes. 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 Correct. 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 In fact, what happened here is that you hit the apartment complex because you were provided for radio. Right? Yes. Yes. You don't have to call more than correct. Your partner, also correct. Right. Yes. motion to replace every or private guns and replace every purchase, right? Yeah. And now like all the ways to formulate the department. Correct. Kind of like this, right? Yes. That is the element of aggravated assault. If you saw it, it's only charged for. Yes. You drove off that way. Yes. Whether you should go or anything like that, you drove off and called for the backup. I don't remember the exact but if you had to say it within a relatively short period of time, it will cost for an all that location. I don't think that would be a fair assessment. No, sir. You showed up right now. Yes. At some point, yes. Yes. Went to the apartment of 7. And it was police probably were this is for a period of time. Down in the gas station and right? Yes. I was personally involved in recovery. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes. You may, sir.
Yes, sir. 3, is it just 2 acres?
2A, 3A, sir. Yes, sir. That's 2A and 3. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, yes. Black. Yes. Black. Basically all black. I have no idea. No, sir. At the time, this has been occurred back in 2013. I got hired November 14th, 2006. At that time, we had received, I think I heard you say some training in regards to gang recognition and stuff like that, right? Yes. You were trained and you were told that if there is an incident that occurred, you would see gang related or anything like that. And you keep that on the probably. And indicate that it was any sort of gang involvement in this case.
No.
Mr. Green, anything? Mr. Short, anything? Ms. Westmoreland, anything? Mr. Weinstein, anything? Any further regret, madam?
Yes, Your Honor, just quickly.
Yes.
Much longer, but as on cross-examination, whether or not you made any arrests of Mr. Stevens or got any arrests on Mr. Stevens or the hijacking and other people that you bring back here. Do you remember being asked about that? Asked that question?
Yes, ma'am.
So, beyond receiving a report of a located facility, do you have any facts about what happened in Newton
No, ma'am.
as an alleged state? And so, you will also ask for city report, stated in your report about the person driving stolen and where they went.
Better wake up.
Notwithstanding where they went, you didn't find, according to your answer, Mr. Adams, you didn't find keys inside their car where they went.
No, ma'am.
And the people who exited the apartment, Mr. Stevens was one of those people,
Yes.
the same one that threw his gun. Was that the same person that threw his gun?
Yes.
Did Mr. Stevens run from uniformed officers?
No, ma'am.
He was running from our people, discarding a gun. Who's that?
Nobody.
How did you all encounter?
He saw the apartment complex again in an effort to see where he was going and what he was doing because he ran the opposite direction that we were driving.
When you say ran,
He,
who was running from?
I don't know.
All right. Were you all pursuing him?
No, we were going the other way. He pointed the gun. We drove the other toward the street. He ran back toward the back of the apartment complex.
Did you said talk to that person?
Yes, ma'am.
Back on the ride?
Not at that time, no.
How long after that on the ride?
The time it took for us to start the apartment complex, see Mr. Stevens re-enter the apartment complex through a hole in the fence, flag down the vehicle that was driving by, get into it, go back around the apartment complex, so half the circle back toward the street. They made a left, which was south on Old Hill Road. Then a patrol car arrived and directed them toward the vehicle that Mr. Stevens had entered. So maybe minutes. That would be my approximation. No, because when the patrol car approached the Buick stopped on its own, and Mr. Stevens exited the vehicle.
Now, how often did you see people flash gang signs during your time as an officer?
My guess would be on more than 10 occasions.
And this is prior to this occurring.
What's the question?
Was this prior to your seeing Mr. Stevens at this time being arrested?
Yes.
Mr. Adams asked you about not in your report that Mr. Stevens had gang signs at your bed.
Yes. Can I refer to my report?
He didn't put it in there. No, he didn't. And it's not in there. do is we're gonna start this second half. Okay.
The question that you asked about the gang signs. I've been since I was subpoenaed here and had to recollect this incident and read my report. I think that, let me refer to my report to what I actually wrote.
Okay, y'all. This is so rough. So rough.
My answer is that when I wrote that Mr. Stevens was more aggressive than the others, I was mentally incorporating the throwing of gang signs as a universal sign of aggression, but I didn't write it out.
And when you were asked by Mr. Adams, were you told to indicate that an incident was gang-related? Do you remember answering the question?
Yes.
Can you state
Mr. Matthews.
Trying to convince about this individual, Mr. Stevens, pointing a weapon at you, right? And just prior to that, you said that you flashing gang signs, right?
Yes.
And you agree that if a person is flashing their gang signs at you, and then they point a weapon at you, that's criminal gang activity, right?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Anything,
With any criminal street gang activity, correct?
correct. Anything further about any for the defendants? All right, ma'am, anything else?
Yes, sir. When you spoke with Mr. Adams, and he asked you, this is the first time that you mentioned gang activity. What did you mean for him to, or what do you understand him to be when he says first time?
To me, as in regards to Mr. Stevens' actions that day.
Okay. And as they relate to speaking court or anywhere else, is there any other time you had an opportunity to talk about what Mr. Stevens did?
Yes.
When?
A couple times this week. Today,
In a formal setting?
no, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, actually, let me. I don't know what the adjudication process was with this case. I don't know if I testified at grand jury, so I can't say with certitude that I've never spoken formally about this.
And when you were asked, what was the gang sign by Mr. Adams, and you said no idea.
Yes, I did that.
If you're saying no idea to what was the gang sign, how are you able to testify to the jury that it was in fact a gang sign?
By the forming of the hands, by the overall gesticulation. I think that you don't need to be a police officer, be educated in what sign means what gang, and any of the gang rule handbook or any of those things to understand what a gang sign looks like when it's being postured towards you, especially considering the totality of the circumstances that I was in the moment. So I don't.
Were the signs that were being made by the individuals that came out of Part 7 similar in nature?
I can't answer that either. I wasn't well educated then on what sign relates to each gang, and I'm not today either.
What are those signs?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Yes. Probably. Anything further, Ms. Adams? All right, anybody else? All right, may we permanently or temporarily excuse Captain Bass?
Your Honor, we had temporarily, I don't anticipate using it again, but I don't know how things are gonna go, so we're using it every day.
Captain Pettis, thank you for your patience with us. I'm going to temporarily excuse you as a witness so that you're subject to being recalled at some point in time. We'll reach out to you if we have to do that. Just remind you not to discuss your testimony except the attorneys in this case, okay? Yes, sir. All right, thank you, sir. All right.
All right now.
Ms. Weaver's documents. Don't be trying to take this stuff. Okay, I watch everything. All right, okay.
All right, yeah.
How about some lunch?
Okay, so y'all, they're gonna go out for lunch, but I wanna talk about just a little bit. I just want to add a little bit to this case. That I don't think the officers had all their information . How you gonna have a gun in your hand and throwing sand? Come on. He didn't even have no proof of that. You know, they can't. It's hard. And then how you know he throwing sign? You know that the sign. I mean, that's hard, y'all. I'm shooting a gun and throwing sign. I ain't got time to be throwing no. While I'm throwing a sign and I'm shooting a gun at the same time. That's another thing. They got to prove. It's a lot of proof, evidence. You know, it's a lot of things that you have to prove. But y'all tell me what y'all think. But what we'll do, we'll come back. They going to lunch. But I don't know if my medal's gonna make me what. But we'll be back. Okay. Thanks, y'all. Oh, I take this medicine.